All right, it's 1300. I'm gonna call this meeting to order.
Thank you.
And first thing will be the approval of the agenda.
Move to amend under old business needs to remain tabled.
Which one?
Number 4.
Okay.
And number 7. And on new business, number 10.
So you need a motion to vote on as amended.
I'll make a motion to vote as amended.
A second.
Unanimous.
All right. Okay, I need a motion to open up public hearing on malt beverages and unfortified wine at special events.
Make a motion to open public hearing.
I'll say.
Unanimous.
All right. All right. This time I'll open the floor to anybody like to speak on that.
Sean, this thing you're talking about, the malt
Yeah.
beverages.
Yeah.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
know the agenda. All right, what exactly are you wanting to do on that, or is that gonna consist of? That be the Heritage Festival or anything like that, special events?
No, the Heritage Festival is its own entity, and alcohol beverages and consumptions is permitted. You can't at any Graham County Festival events. It'd still be prohibited on any festival grounds for Graham County festivals.
Okay.
Prohibited or permitted?
Prohibited.
Okay.
All right. So the special events would include what, Sean?
If a business wanted to have, say, a concert outside or something, that's my understanding. That's what that would take place. Attorney could probably explain it better.
Well, a lot of restaurants will have a celebration, and that's what this addresses, is special events by a business in the town of Robbinsville. So any business in the town of Robbinsville would have to apply to the town for a special event permit. And they could hold it at their event just for the unfortified wine and the malt beverage. And the special event, as long as it didn't block any town property, could be outside of the business. In other words, Ingalls owns their parking lot, and they could have a special event out in their parking lot, and it could include the malt beverage and the unfortified wine at their special event.
But I don't
So
know
that's
of
what
any
this
Ingalls
is.
that have had
No,
type
I
of
was just
event like
saying
that, so.
Oh,
Who's gonna regulate it?
Yeah, we're gonna regulate, like say, Wynn's Place throws a Super Bowl bash. They can be on the premises of Wynn's Place. It couldn't spill over and
Into
be
the
down at the
street.
parking lot or over here crossing from.
But before they do that, they have
But they would
to,
have to.
a
apply
special
for
event permit
Yeah.
has to be filed within a timely manner of that event.
So the business would not require to have its own beer and wine license to do that?
no, it would have to do that.
Yeah.
It would have to have it.
Yeah,
That
would
would
have
be
to have
required.
that.
Okay.
And that's what's in the ordinance, is before they could even apply for a special event, they have to, the ABC, the state of North Carolina ABC board permit has to be in good standing. And the business could not have been cited for any violations within the last 3-year period. So any business has to jump through that state ABC board requirements. Then what the town is offering is if you have a special event, we'll do this. But if they're not up to snuff with the state of North Carolina, then they couldn't get a permit from the town.
Can I ask why, as far as, I mean, they can go down here, whenever it goes in, they can go down here and buy it at the store. I mean, why do we need this, something on the street and something public like this? I mean,
It will confine it to a localized area without having it spread throughout the town. Won't be people walking down the sidewalks and just carrying over into the public. It'll be a more of a regulated event.
Yeah, that's a way to regulate.
I guess my next question, I'm full of questions. Is this a done deal? I mean, or is this something that the Chins are gonna
I mean, it's
vote
already
to pass, or?
it's already, we'll have to vote on the regulations, but it's here. I mean, it got voted in. We're just having to try to regulate and figure out how we can keep it under control and regulate.
It was voted in the November election.
Right, yeah, I'm aware of
And then
that.
this is some regulation on it. The special events and the days of public hearing and whether the board votes on it this meeting or the next meeting, you're required to have a public hearing on alcohol regulation. And then there's an application that was part of it. And the purpose of the public hearing is taking comment. You've already got what was voted on.
Right, yeah.
Anybody else like to speak on that, or? Okay.
Any more questions? We're working it out day by day, and, like I say, this is the best way we can kind of keep it contained and keep it regulated, where, it ain't gonna spill over business to business. Just cause one business is having a special event, it shouldn't affect the business next to it. So we kind of keep it contained to that area and out off the general purpose and streets, yeah.
Okay.
This seemed like to me you're bringing them in for the purpose of drinking, then wanting, I don't know how you're gonna.
We're not
define
bringing
that.
anybody in.
No, we're not bringing it in, it's
The business themselves.
yeah, if the business decides to do something this way, we can keep it contained to their facility without having it spill over.
This regulates what they can do.
Yeah,
at
just
that.
kind of regulate what can go on without,
Assuming they're in good standing with the state,
I mean, they have to
they have to be within good standing with the state to even apply for the special event permit to the town.
Without the ordinance and regulations, then basically we don't have no control. They can just do whatever they want to do, and we gotta set the ordinance to keep everybody in check.
Anybody else want to speak on the issue, or? Okay, need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Is that unanimous?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda will be the ordinance on the malt beverages and unfortified wine at special events.
Does this need to be read entirely?
No,
No.
no, it's been It's a restatement of your resolution
Okay.
that was available to in the town hall.
Now,
And you
may,
clarified that the special events must be within the event location.
now may have overlooked this part of it, but, like say, there's a wedding or something on private property, may have it catered by one of the local restaurants, serve alcohol. Now, is it covered under this ordinances and regulation that it has to be?
Not on private property.
Well, no, I mean, you know, like it's, does it, I guess what I'm asking, does the ordinances stand for catered events the same as it does for in-house events?
This is,
This is for businesses, right?
yeah, I was gonna say, if the business is having the wedding reception, they'll have to go by this. Or any other type of reception, you know.
Okay, so it's
Right,
covered.
any other type, right. And it's only town property now, we can't spill out into
Oh, no.
Yeah.
county.
So this one right here, Miss Ellen, on G, number 3, says the town shall have the authority to designate the boundaries of any special event area. So we are supposed to,
If it spills out beyond their property.
You're authorized to temporarily close streets. It's quite often done for festivals. But you have to announce it in advance. And since we have Lynn's right here, if they were having a wedding reception and there was gonna be some tables coming out partly off the curb or whatever, they would have to give notice, and the notices in here, and apply for anything outside their establishment.
and we have the authority to
Right.
designate the boundaries
And
too.
if you've been through towns where they'll have tables and chairs set up right outside the restaurant, that has to be authorized too. You
Okay,
can never, you can have use of the sidewalk, but you can't block it, is what.
Yeah, sometimes you only have them
right,
motorcycle
Yeah.
events, and we close Laura Street right there.
Yeah.
okay.
You know, alcohol's already highly regulated by the state, and what this says is that, you've gotta jump through all those other hoops. If you're gonna have an event in town, you're regulating it a little more. You're getting a handle on it, because it's a municipality.
What would be the will of the board?
I make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Unanimous.
Alright. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes for the February 2nd regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll say,
Unanimous.
This time I need a motion to open up public comment.
Motion to open public comment.
say,
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody for public comment? Need a motion to close public comment.
I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
Unanimous.
First on old business is state capital and infrastructure grant contract.
Get this first. This is the first one in the,
That's right.
okay.
That is the contract that we discussed last month, for the 1.1 million for the, Toll Creek water plant that the Senate had put in their budget. And so we've sent it to the attorney, hopefully she's reviewed it. There's two choices. She either says you can sign it or not, but it's pretty much, written in stone how we want the 1.1 million, we'll need to sign, approved for the mayor to sign the contract.
Everything looks good.
Well, yeah, we need, when I read this, I wasn't sure what our obligation is. I mean, we have a funding level, but do we have to do any matching?
No, that was my understanding. We don't.
No, this
have
is
any
an
match.
appropriation from the Senate.
Okay. And the only other thing on these types of contracts, they may ask you to amend some of your policies, and I didn't see that in here, but you get a separate letter like no smoking within 10 feet of the front door or 20 feet. You'll get some requirements, and I've never known anything to be unusual. They just require you to adopt policies.
What would be the will of the board?
Make a motion to approve the contract, state capital infrastructure grant, and give the mayor authority to sign on behalf of the town.
I'll say.
Unanimous.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the CDBG sewer line grant. A representative from McGill here to talk to us about it.
So I just put together a real quick presentation so that if you all had questions, you can feel free to ask. The CDBG grant, I don't want my back to anyone. The CDBG grant is grant funding through HUD, and the Housing and Urban Development Department has many rules that have to be followed. And the main one is fair housing and no discrimination and everything that goes along with fair housing. So part of the grant that you all are being funded requires that you put together a affirmatively furthering fair housing plan at the AFFH, and within that there is something called the impediments to fair housing. So what I have done is I've gone ahead and prepared the AFFH and the AI, which is the analysis of impediments. Too many acronyms.
Too many A's.
I know, I have to remember them all. So this is a federal guideline. The CFR 5.154 is the required guideline that we have to follow. But just to give you an idea of what is in the town of Robbinsville, AFFH, it is fair housing quarterly activities, which is a requirement of your grant. And it is the fair housing complaint procedure, which you all, I noticed you have it posted up on your wall here. And then part of the AFFH is also the analysis of impediments. So what you have been provided is all of the documentation that goes into those reports that as part of your grant, you will need to send to the CDBG office. And that has to be, those reports have to be approved by you all, the board, before they can be sent there. And you have in your packets the whole thing that I prepared with Sonia's help to put together for the town of Robbinsville. So if you have any specific questions about the reports that I have put together for you all, just so you know, the attachments document is the actual page from every website that I pulled data from. So you can follow through with the websites where I found the data.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of data in there, and I wanted to make sure you all knew where I found it.
Yeah.
And we have to have this to proceed on with the grant, is that correct?
That's correct. It's a requirement of the grant.
There's some deadlines in here. What's the deadline on this one?
This one has to be to the state by the end of March.
The end of March, okay.
Yes.
Because I knew we had a lot of deadlines in here. but-
Yes.
Okay, so end of March.
Yes, the end of March. However, it needs board approval, so that's why we're here today. So if you have time to go through the reports and you have any questions, or if you come up with questions after today, feel free to call me and ask me, or ask Sonia to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions
Okay.
you all have.
Okay.
I have a question. Do we have to publish anything that's in, I mean, we've not done any publication on this. Before the end of March, is any publication required?
There is not for this.
Okay.
However, there have been publications that have been, your fair housing complaint procedure was published. And as well as the 504, which is for the disabilities, those have been published, and that was at the onset of the grant, part of your compliance documentation. Mhm. There's a lot of data there, so I don't know how much time you want to, you have a long agenda today,
Yeah.
so I am more than happy to answer questions at any point in time. So,
But we do need to make a decision today. Because
yes.
if it's at the end of March, yeah.
Well, today, because this is
Yeah,
your.
we got the
your board
deadline.
meeting. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Okay,
yeah, maybe we can have a few minutes to kind of look at it all.
take your
Well,
time.
it's always, let's see, we did review this in a fair amount of detail. So that is the grant and all the deadlines are in there. I think when, and I hate when you rush to do something, but it does, in working with McGill, if you have to come back and amend anything, but it does, you have to identify people to handle this particular section, and the one that's been identified is your finance officer.
That's correct.
So, I mean, just help your finance officer. I don't know that you would need to redo it and say someone else, but just be aware that, to assist your finance officer with setting up the requirements of this. And and the requirements aren't onerous, it's just, there's a complaint procedure, you want to make sure it just isn't on a post-it note. You want something labeled appropriately. So that would be my, if you adopt this, let it be your finance officer, but also recognize that you need to work with your finance officer to help set up the process for this. That would be my recommendation. And your finance officer, to my knowledge, is already keeping all these dates. They're from,
I'm sure she's got a big file
yeah,
for this
there
already.
there are lots and lots of dates in here, and the finance officer's already doing that. So, but I just think for this to make it workable.
May I add a comment to that? Is that there is a contract between the town of Robbinsville and McGill Associates for grant administration time, and that's what I'm doing. So I am assisting the finance officer who does have
Oh,
quite a bit of
okay.
work to do.
All right.
Yeah.
And the way I understand it, since I'm the only one certified to work with this, that's the reason I'm the one who's on the list.
And Roman numeral 6 of this allows for amendments. So, what you don't want to do is sign some contractor and sign a document you're in concrete. But this allows for amendments for local actions and activities, so that's a good thing. Roman numeral 6.
That's in the AI section.
Right, that's right.
Okay.
All the way at the very end. I get to the tape. No, it's not the last page. It's
That's not the last.
It's on the last page of the AFFH, and then it's just before where the AI section begins.
Make a motion to accept the AFFH plan and the AI plan and give the mayor to sign on behalf of the town.
I'll second.
Unanimous.
All right. Okay. Next on the agenda is the other branch survey, and they still not completed it, but they're working on it. They're hoping to get it done this week. And, the board had voted to table 4, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Number 5 is, Board of Elections budget. You need the board to vote on the budget amendments on it.
Budget amendment number 9, we had discussed last meeting that we would be able to take almost all of it, all the way except the $102. And then I realized, well, that is a fund in itself, so we had to take all of it. We needed to budget every dollar that we were going to overspend to the election board over what our budget was already allowed for. So I spoke with Mayor Adams, and he said we could take some of the 102 out of the mayor expense. So this budget, number 9, will add $1,326 to our budget to allow for the additional expense for the elections board for the election this year.
Motion to approve budget
Second.
amendment number 9.
Okay. All right. Number 6 is ARP funds, COVID pay policy, and premium pay policy budget amendments. So you need a budget amendment for that, Sonia?
The first budget amendment is number 6 for $1,467. It's going to be coming out of the American Rescue Plan. This is what the board voted on last month, and this is just to appropriate the funds out of the ARP, American Rescue Plan fund, over to our wages and expense.
Motion to approve budget amendment number 6.
Second.
Unanimous.
All right.
The next ones are 5 and 8, and they're basically the same thing, is that correct?
That's right, number 5, and then, because you have your,
Uh-huh.
what is it? Yes. 6 and 5, 8 and
7.
7. It's just different accounts, same thing that was going on.
That would basically, we're pulling money from the ARP plan into the, into all of these, it's listed.
Yes.
Did you say 8, 2, 8?
Yeah, 6, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
It wasn't in the order.
Okay, motion to approve budget amendment number 5.
Second.
Unanimous.
Also budget amendment number 7 and number 8.
Now, second.
Unanimous.
Okay, is that all the budget amendments on you?
Yes.
Okay, and then the town wanted to table number 7.
Yep.
Okay, and number 8, Chad was gonna address the board about that, but he's not here.
He gave me a price the other day, and it says here that we approved it years ago, but I don't remember it. And we couldn't find anything in the minutes since our term, so I'm not sure when it was approved. But he does have the tap at his shop, so I think he said it'd be just a cost just under $2,000. I'm not sure for this project. But I'd still like to have some. It's just can we put this on hold till we can get a hold of Chad and see if we can get some numbers?
We can just
We'll
table
follow
it.
up at the end of the day.
Okay,
That be all right?
you want to just table it? All right.
We'll just hold that to the end of the day.
All right. And next on the agenda is the fence repair. Chad was gonna address us about that, I don't.
So the first one is for the damage that was done to the fence.
Yeah, somebody ran into it.
And they're wanting to pay it out of pocket. The personal individual wants to pay it out of pocket. So we just have to get up with them and let them know that this is the amount that it's gonna cost to get that one section of fence fixed.
Yeah,
Is that the 2440?
I can't find that in my
Yeah.
packet, but you read it out.
Yeah, it's 2440 of the actual fence contract.
That's a. Just, are you getting ready to approve these contracts? I just want, on page, shoot, I have my own copy that I marked up. Let me get to, page 4, E. They have jurisdiction in Buncombe County. Nay, jurisdiction is Graham County. I mean, that needs to change. At least, it's North Carolina, but.
Yeah, this first one is gonna be a contract with the person that hit the fence.
Yeah. Sounds good.
They're gonna be paying that. They just needed a quote.
Okay, so the first one then is wherever,
Yeah,
it's with
it's with the person that did the damage.
okay, I guess because I was looking on the cover sheet, had
And
Town of Robbinsville.
the next one will have to,
Okay,
we got the quote on behalf of the person that hit the fence.
okay.
The second one is to the fence that borders the community building all the way down through there.
Okay, yeah,
And that was to fix that fence while they were here.
yeah.
And that will be a cost of $57,3817.
Okay.
And again, it's still an E. It's got the same Buncombe County, so.
I think if you mark out the initial it, put Graham County.
It said the quote's good for 5 days, and that was dated the 2nd of February, or the 9th of February. So,
And there's one other one, H. Just, when you have this contract is a little under 6,000, and it has lawsuit or arbitration. My recommendation on H is mark out lawsuit, and it costs you for filing and service, and just put North Carolina Arbitration Act. Put arbitration by the North Carolina Arbitration Act. You don't want to litigate a $6,000 contract.
I mean, these are just quotes. We probably will need one for that. Let's see, it's 160 feet of the fence. So, I mean, if you want
And
to
it's a
see.
1-year warranty.
Yeah.
I called a couple other companies trying to get them to give us additional quotes.
Yeah,
But
Chad said he's called a few companies and
nobody seemed to want to.
nobody wants to come here and work. So. So on the first one, we, with the board's approval, we'll go ahead and get that to the, person that did the damage. And then we went ahead and had them quote the other one, since they were here, already here, that they could fix that one section of fence while they were here, instead of having to come back out 2 different times. But that's up to,
So we just need to make a motion to approve it,
Yeah.
and then also have them to change that into writing about the lawsuit and the Graham County instead of Buncombe County.
and, do we have, monies for this in, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Any kind of guarantee like that.
Because it hadn't been brought to him yet, but he said that boy's daddy said that he would take care of it.
And he knows the price.
So
of
we'd
what
only
the
be
cost is.
approving
I don't know yet. I don't know if Chad's given that or not. I think he was waiting on him to see what we decided.
Oh,
This is not in the budget, we'd have to add it.
Okay.
They don't have to get some definite answers.
yeah, I mean, we kinda need to make sure they're gonna pay their part before we decide to pay out.
Yeah.
That guy's father needs to sign something showing that he'll be willing to pay his part on this before we need to agree to pay
$30,000, yeah.
$57,000.
You just want to table it till.
I'll make a motion to table this till we get more information.
Okay. Got a second?
Second.
Ron?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All right. Next on the agenda is number 10, Atoa Street and Circle Street speed humps. All right, we've got 2 separate petitions for Atoa Street. The Circle Street didn't get any turned in, but
Yeah, the first one is we can't use that one because there's people that don't even live in town. There's one from London, Kentucky. So,
it's electronic. But I do have a another one that's got 16 signatures,
Yeah,
and
that one we can
everyone that's on that does live in that neighborhood.
yes. That one we can use.
You have a copy of it? I've got the original. Okay.
Yeah, I think we got, yeah. So, and, with that being said, it's Atoa and Circle Street.
Yeah, Circle Street didn't get their petition in. But
Yeah. So this would be just the Atoa Street.
yes.
Well, maybe these people have a second home here with the county. The ones putting down
Oh, I don't know.
Kennesaw and,
Yeah, but now several of them on there do live on that street.
um,
The first 4 or no, 1 through 4 lives there. I know for sure. Number 6 lives there.
I don't know.
Sean, how many bumps are you wanting to put on that Atoa Street?
I'm thinking 3.
Oh, I'm in agreement with 3.
Yeah, that's what that be done.
Yeah.
We need to decide carefully where to put
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, and possibly 4. I don't. We could. I know for sure where 3 would be much needed.
I think 3 would be sufficient enough because they've got that curve that they have to go through too, and that kinda,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, we need to, I think we still got money in our,
Road.
yes,
But,
yes.
Okay.
Let's do three.
Three.
Make a motion to pay for 3 speed bumps on Atoa Street.
I'll second.
Unanimous, and that's with the signage, the bigger signs.
Okay. All right. All right. Next on the agenda, number 11, the town hall crosswalks. And I've been talking to DOT about these, and they're gonna try to put up some new signs and repaint this crosswalk, because it is really dangerous and it needs to be.
I think would help tremendously is a sign on this side because you can't see it coming up.
Yeah,
So maybe they'll get that worked out.
yeah. All right. Next on the agenda, number 12 is part-time employee health insurance. Did you want to discuss that, Sonia?
Last month we discussed this during closed session. Did you want to talk about this?
Yeah, number 12 we'll hold for closed session.
Okay. All right, any further old business? All right, on the new business, they're supposed to have the street light up at the elementary school.
It's a,
Yeah,
I don't know how bright it is,
Yeah.
but it's a,
yeah. And, of course, McGill's already gave their updates on the grants and everything. And we discussed the survey and the crosswalk. And just we'll turn it over to Sonia for the finance update.
I wanted to make the board aware that there are mailboxes for the board in here at the town hall. I noticed today there's mail in them. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. So you have your name, and we'll show you after the meeting if you're not aware that you each have mailboxes, and you will want to check once in a while. Our tax collection rate is at 93%. Very happy about that. A budget versus actual I have in your packet. Still at a positive note. General fund, we're at 95,000 addition, more than we have brought in more than we spent, 95,846. And we're at a positive note with our general fund. We have brought in 161,451 more than we have spent.
that last one was water, right? To the general.
What?
That was water.
What's that?
Well, last one was water sewer fund.
What did I say?
You said general.
It happens. They're both our general fund and our
Okay.
water and sewer fund is doing just fine. Okay, and that is all I have today.
Okay.
Oh, I did also include in your packet, the finance director, clerk to the board job duties. So if you have any questions about anything on this list, you can just come straight to me and ask me about it. Just in case you were concerned about what was my job duties and other employees' job duties.
Number 3, budget schedule.
And so it's budget time again. We'll go ahead and present this budget schedule to the board, and if you have any problems with the dates that I have put in on it, let me know ahead of time. The first one will be for the department heading meeting, so you're welcome to attend, but it's not necessary. That's April 7th, Thursday at 2 o'clock. I'll be letting the department heads know. And then, with their recommendations of what they need for their budget, we'll have a budget workshop on May 5th. That's Thursday at 2 o'clock. And then we'll have our special board meeting where I will present you the proposed budget on May 18th, Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And then we can have our public hearing June 1st at 1 o'clock at our regular meeting. And if there is no concerns or changes, we can go ahead and adopt the budget on that date. So if anybody wants to look at their calendar and let me know if those dates just don't work for you, that's flexible. We're just got a timeline that we try to run with what LGC requires. So that is just a schedule we do each year so everybody knows when's the meeting. So as far as you're concerned, you're meeting every one of those dates except the first one, April 7th.
All right. Next on the agenda was Bill Young with the issues about Laura Street, but he's not here.
And just to let everybody know, I've spoke with him before, and I think you spoke with him.
Yeah.
The dip at the bottom of Laura Street that's been there for I'm 41 years old, has always been there. But evidently now it's causing some issues with his building that's adjacent to that dip in the road. That's his issue. So I'll just catch you up on what his issue was. The dip at the bottom of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
It's been there as long as I can remember. So,
I think
Jens are aware of it now.
Okay. Number 5, unsolved code red system.
It's a good thing if you have somebody to manage it. As far as putting out the things, and I think myself and Sherry and I think Chad can do that. But a lot of times they don't. If they're working on a water leak, they ain't got time to take a break and send me a message and say, hey, you need to put this on there.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. We're not always around to do that. So I mean, you can do it from your mobile app, but it's if used correctly and somebody that can take charge of it and use it like it should be, then I think it's worth the cost. But that's up to the board.
Since August of last year, how many times have we used it? Because I see here where we're paid from August to August. Have we had to use it?
We've used it a few times on some water break. Like I said, not every water break because, nobody had let me know. They were busy just trying to get the water fixed and back on. They didn't have time to send me a message, and I'm not always in town to know what's going on. So, but maybe we can get one of the maintenance guys that would get them back in here and do a training on it to get them where they can do it themselves, or the ORC at the water plant or something like that.
And what does this do?
It's a public notification. Like if we have a water break, we can send it out to everybody that subscribes to it. That we got a water break or a boil water notice or anything to that nature.
So not all of our city water people that pay their bills, they're not automatically
it's an
on
option.
it? It's an option.
It's an option.
Okay.
So does the board want to keep doing it, or?
I mean, they asked for this.
I think
To
we
get
need to,
updates.
but I think we maybe need to make the customers more aware of it so that they can, have that option. I just
And-
remember that one time when, there was a lot of
Yeah, that was over the.
miscommunication, and if we would have had this, I think it would have been okay.
And just getting maybe more than one or two people that can actually put that message out there. So,
I pulled the old contract, or the current contract, and you pay $1,200 for year one, and they have in there they can go up 5% a year, and they went up 5% to $1,260.
we'll go at it another year and see how it goes, and then we'll make a decision the next year when it comes around. If everybody's okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think we do need to make the more aware, because that's the first time I did it.
All right. Next on the agenda is tank maintenance, so I'm gonna turn the floor over to Mr. Eisenhower.
Well, what you've got, we've come up and got a contract. You've got a maintenance contract on water tanks. Is everybody aware of the contract? Know
Yes.
what they're paying out and stuff like that?
That's been a while back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Been a year ago. A year ago, July. You got visuals on your thing
Visual inspection.
visual inspection on your,
On the contract.
on your contracts. Some of them's $34,000.
That's the walk on the job
That's
site.
walk on the job site,
Good.
take a picture and send it to you all, send it to Sean. You got washouts, come in and wash your tank out for,
I'll
30.
just give you some totals right quick. Y'all, over a 10-year period, as far as y'all got so many visual inspection, which that means to walk on the job site, look at the tank, maybe look in the tank, that's it. But over a 10-year period, it is costing y'all $185,000.
Just for the visual?
Just a
inspection?
visual, to
My
visually look at
goodness.
the tank. Over a 10-year period, to wash out the tanks, this means to open the hatch, wash it out, $111,000. That's in the contract. Over a 10-year period. That's, and a washout and visual is, that's not doing nothing to your tanks.
I don't have the contract in front of me, so I don't know exactly what it says. But I know we can't proceed
I've got
to
a
the.
copy of the contract.
Okay. Well, I just know we can't proceed to the next section until we get our other water plant up and running, because they have to take it down. Because basically when they do the inside, they take the water down, have to fill it back up and test it and let it out again and then refill it again. So the tank has to be drained like 3 times before it can actually go back to service once they do the maintenance on the inside of the tanks. I do know that much, but I don't know what it consists of.
What we do, we paint water tanks and towers for a living.
That's what we do for a living. I've been doing it for.
We charge $3,000 to $4,500 for a visual inspection or washout. They're charging $34,000 multiple times in a 10-year period.
Then they're gonna go up on you in that 10 year. They're gonna go up, they want you to sign another contract in 10 years.
And I think this, it does actually the maintenance on the inside of the tank. The do that as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I didn't think this was put out for bid.
This wasn't put out for bid whatsoever.
We inspected the tanks here 2 or 3 years ago for free.
Let me see this right here, Cole. And your washouts, they've got a washout every year, or visual or washout every year. State law in the state of North Carolina, you don't have to wash your tank out every 3 to 5 years. See, they're washing your tanks out 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 5 years and giving you a visual, coming and giving you a visual. Just like your Long Creek or Fort Hill tank right here. The first year you've got $13,221. That's for repairs. Then on the second year you got a visual, $13,221. Then the third year you've got a washout, $13,321. Then down here at your 300,000 gallon Junaluska tank, you've got on your 5th year you've got a visual of $34,562. Then the 6th year you've got another washout for $34,562. Then the 7th year you've got another visual for $34,562. Then the 8th year you've got a washout for $11,379.
And just to clarify, a washout consists of a pressure washer hose, pressure wash the inside mud, silt, high up as you can reach, and disinfect, and that's it. And visual inspections, like I said, putting your eyes on it.
You've got a maintenance-free tank up there, a bolted tank up there at Long Creek. You've got a maintenance-free, they're supposed to be maintenance-free tanks. You've got a washout on the first year of $1,700. You got a visual the second year, $1,700. You got a washout the third year for $1,700. You got a visual for the 4th year, $1,900. You got a washout for the next year, $1,900. You got a visual for the next year, $1,908. Then the 7th year, you got a washout for $2,779. Then the 8th year, you've got a washout for $2,079. I mean, somebody's throwing money away.
And we're not here to be
We're
mean or
not.
anything. We're just here trying to help y'all.
Try to help. I mean,
This contracting they're in is no good.
I've got a
no good.
stepdaughter down here that gets city water, and Corey's got a mama and papa that gets city water up here.
But when I live in Robbinsville,
I've got homes.
and I
here and
inspected the
everything
tanks for free, and it wasn't even put out for bid. We didn't get a chance to even give a quote or a price.
But somebody's throwing money away. I mean, if you're gonna throw money away, that's fine. I mean, that's
What we'll do, we'll review our contract and we'll get back again and see if we can't either renegotiate or do something with our current contract and put it out for bid for the remainder of the tank maintenance.
yeah, it should, as much as this contract's for $530,000, and it should have been out for bid.
Absolutely, yeah.
It should have been out for bid. Anytime you spend that kind of money by the state law in the state of North Carolina,
It's a sealed bid, I'm pretty
it's
sure.
supposed to be a sealed bid.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll review our contract and we'll be back in touch with you.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
bringing
Thank
it
you.
up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Number 7, the RTA Tourism Director, Chairman, Board Members.
I guess I need to take that as the chairman. Our RTA director put in a resignation letter. I just kind of want to give you some little facts from the whole thing. On August the 21st, we had announced that we would have a Taylor's Hicks concert here for the 150th celebration. And the cost presented to us was $15,000. And at that time, the board thought that was the full price for all of it. And so a contract was signed. And at every meeting after that, we were told that everything was moving along with the concert, but there was no evidence of tickets or flyers, banners, or anything. And then in our January 2022 meeting, we were presented another issue. Since that we had signed the contract with the artist, we were required to provide a stage, lights, and sound, which we didn't expect that. We thought all of that was taken care of from what the board had been told. And so the cheapest way out for us to make that happen was to rent a stage with lights and sound for an additional $12,500. And so as the RTA board, we were looking at a debt of, now think about this, $27,500 for a concert that we didn't even have any tickets printed for, nor was there a recognized site to purchase tickets online. The site that had been made had only been up for just a couple of weeks, and when you went to it, it was actually like you were paying your water bill. And 6 tickets had been sold. 4 of those tickets were mine. So there was another link that was presented to us, and the RTA director agreed to meet up the next day and go to the Robbinsville page, put that link on the page so that we could actually have an efficient way of selling the customers a ticket. So after the meeting, I spoke with the RTA director as a chairman about the concerns about the duties of the job and how that they were not being done. And I also spoke as an alderman for the citizens of Robbinsville. All I could see was $27,500 and nothing to show for it. Not a ticket, not a link to get order the tickets. And I was strong with my words, but no stronger than what any of you guys have been in this room whenever yous have had to address a situation. I've never worked with Kenneth other than just this few times, but I have worked with Sean and Taco. And there's been times when you've used strong words. I did not harass or I did not threaten. We are paying her to do a job, and we needed her to do more with this job concerning the events that we had planned for and to not procrastinate. She sent in a resignation email the next day stating that she would work until February the 4th. Yet, when she was contacted to come in and link the ticket sales to the town page, she didn't answer her phone. And I am continuing to still receive emails concerning this. And I would like for it to stop. No one threatened, no one fired, no one done nothing. So basically, after that day, I knew that there had to be a lot done. I did not want this concert or any of the other things to be a failure. So I called one of our computer technicians and he unlocked the desktop, while the other computer technician linked it up and we were able to get the ticket sales online. We've already sold 61 VIP tickets along with other tickets since then. So that was a huge help to us. Since that day, I've went in and I've organized that office. I took over events that had deadlines that needed to be met. One in particular was this March. We had actually talked about the Passport Adventure thing since January of 2021. And as of January 2022, nothing still had been done about it. But since January the 27th, for the whole month of February, I was able to get that going, and we are ready to present that to the public. And I have also took and made the car show, got everything going for it. I'm probably about 80% ready for it. Most of the stuff that's not ready is because just having a hard time linking up with the trophy people and just other little things that have just come into play. But it will be ready by May. I am asking this board to consider paying me for the time that I've spent doing this job in the month of February. I've put in hours and made it happen. I did not want our RTA to be a failure. And I'm asking yuns to consider leaving me in it until we get that person hired. I know we have to put it in the paper. We have to run the notice for the job. But I honestly, guys, don't think the job needs to be for a 24-hour job. Since I've took it, and if you get the right person in there, they can make these events happen and still have time on their hands. Maybe use more hours whenever we are having the events. Like I haven't had time to get on to the fishing derby, but that I can handle too. But that's what I'm asking. I'm asking that we run an ad in the paper for the RTA director, but I'm also asking for you guys to consider paying me for the job that I've done since all this, because if not, it would not have happened. We've got a concert coming in May that up until January we had only sold 6 tickets. And we had known about that concert since August.
Okay, first off, can we do that legally, where she sits on the board?
I reviewed the statute that sets up your RTA, the General Assembly statute, and I also reviewed your rules of procedure. And I think whether you answer it today, whether the board can answer that today, You need, I would recommend that you amend your agenda to include accepting the resignation of the RTA director and an RTA member, Teresa Garland. The rules of procedure require that those resignations, voluntary resignations, be made in writing to the town council. And I don't know if they were, but
It was an
We
email.
got
oh, it's in your
sent out, but
email.
I
It was
don't know
email,
if
so
it
it's
was
been made in writing.
to us, yeah.
And it needs to be, they need to be accepted at the next regularly scheduled meeting. So you could amend this to just add those two and accept those two resignations. I'm trying to look at this procedurally, you know, get that done. And so then what you have before you is that you can do the ad in the paper for the RTA director, and then begin looking for a new board member that meets your requirements of the tourism authority. Okay. Now, your RTA requires, you basically control your RTA. You put members on, and you can remove members and they can voluntarily resign. Then your chair of the board is always a town board member. And hence, this time around, it's Deb Beasley is your chair. Okay. The finance officer is an ex officio member, and so is the mayor. So that means no voting power for them. So you can rightfully, after you accept the resignation of the RTA director, put that in the paper. As to paying someone for furthering the business of the RTA during this time, in looking at the rules of procedures, if the money comes from does the money come from RTA, or does it come from?
It comes from all that's all funded with the officer tax.
Okay. Well, RTA needs to have, I think if all the money comes from RTA, that under their rules of procedure, just at first blush, they would have it on an agenda item, the money that would have gone to the RTA director, some portion of that could be paid because of the service provided by the chair. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, it would be an RTA.
Check.
I mean, it would be an RTA
And an
decision.
RTA agenda item.
Yeah, not necessarily ours.
I'm not saying you can't do it, I'm just saying procedurally, that's what I recommend, because there seem to be some,
I just felt
There's
like
some
that it needed to
rescuing
be
you-
addressed to them because they're the ones that votes to hire the people and make the salary, and that's why I felt like that needed to be brought to you guys. We're the ones that hire
it's
the
gonna be
RTA
paid from the
director.
RDA, it's gonna be paid from the RTA
Right.
budget.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the
And-
money's for the RTA when it comes out of the town.
No, it doesn't.
So
That would be their,
I think procedurally, just at first blush, this is a little bit too, I mean, we need a little more, and there's an amendment, you can amend your, and this is when you find out your rules of procedures aren't always 100%, you're not alone, and there's an amendment for rules of procedure. Because RTA is basically a baby of the town, and you haven't cut it loose, but just at first blush, it's their money, their budget, and they're required by the general statutes to have a budget. Our
They do.
RTA, and there all are, but I mean, we have a statute just for our RTA. And so that's my recommendation. And you have someone who picked up it could have been a detrimental situation, and has picked up and run with it, and you hope your RTA will recognize that. So you have two positions you've got to fill, and then RTA puts that on agenda to use a portion of the RTA. And it's sort of like doing a budget amendment, because their budget is just like our
Right.
fiscal
Mhm.
act. They would do a budget amendment to utilize the RTA director's funds to recognize that somebody picked up and ran with it.
Okay.
I'm a little bit shocked, though. So that's at first blush, I mean, all this just came down. At first blush, I mean, we've got to be thankful someone picked up and ran with it. And then it's all a learning lesson. I would have done it this way. Brian would have done it this way. Dirk Cody would have done it that way. We got a performer who apparently suddenly said we needed all the props. I mean, that's pretty
No,
shocking.
that was in the contract.
To provide all the props?
Mm-hmm.
I mean RTA.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it was in the contract, and see, that was what we'd said, make sure that we only have to pay this $15,000, that lights, sounds, all the other is included with that. And see, she even gave you the contract and said you looked over it and said everything was good.
I didn't see anything in there about providing additional. And
See, we left all that to you guys. We looked at it, but a lot of it was drawn up to where that we really didn't understand. So that's why even
I
Karen
didn't see
said,
anything in there about providing additional props.
well,
The artist
there
comes
wasn't
and
an
performs,
additional. It was it had to be a specific setup stage.
And your artist performer has that. They come with their props. So we'll take another look at that. We need to let them know.
Yeah.
You need to sell a heck of a lot of tickets. But I've not heard of the artist not coming with his props.
Well, that was to my understanding too.
So, but at any rate, you've got, the RTA needs to get through this with the skin on their back. So, that would be my recommendation to have a little further time to look into it. That there's an RTA agenda item, and that we start the process of RTA director and appointment of another person.
That's what I would suggest too, that let RTA handle that part of it, because all the money comes from the RTA, the town funds within it.
So you guys don't have to vote on it then? If they say, yes, do that? Because we've never done that before.
But it's RTA rules of procedure. They do their own budget.
So it's, okay.
It's up to them.
Okay, I guess just since I looked at it as a salary, that I felt like it was something that had to go before you guys.
If it would come out of town funds, yes, but it's
Okay.
the RTA monies, and I don't think it would have to come to us.
Okay.
And all of this raises, it may be time to look over the rules of procedure. I mean, the town, it's a tough relationship. It's okay, the General Assembly says this is the town, but then the RTA is its own procedures and its own budget. Okay, so it may be time to look at it further. And have the tourism authority amend their rules of procedure.
Okay.
So, but right, you've carried on and they've got the budget.
And the board does need to appoint a new member to the RTA because Teresa's resigning.
Whenever we have our meeting, then we will do that.
No, the
'Cause-
Alderman appoints.
Yeah, we appoint the board members.
Right, but
Yeah.
we have to,
You can recommend some.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
you won't be
We'll
able
bring
to do it
them to
today.
you.
Very
Okay.
good.
We
Yeah,
ought to have it on the agenda for next month.
Yeah.
it
because
should be,
It's
yeah.
really getting close to
Yeah.
Taylor Hicks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, number,
well, I need to make a
Oh, okay, sorry.
amendment, to the agenda, item 20, the resignation of the RTA director and the RTA board member. And
To
we-
accept.
To
the re-
accept.
Accept resignation, okay.
I'll second.
Unanimous.
Okay, you're making a, putting that order for number 20. Okay. All right, and that was accept resignation of,
RTA director and RTA board member.
okay.
Okay.
Mr. Young is here
Oh.
now. Would you like to amend the agenda so he can speak?
Who's here? The road issue, Mr. Young. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry, I guess I got the time wrong.
It's all right.
But, yeah, we've had a problem for the last 20 years. And now, we had a problem 1 or 2 years ago. The town came in on Laura Street at the top there between the former restaurant, which is gonna be something different now, the former restaurant and the motel. And they did repairs, and all those repairs have fallen apart. They threw down some temporary stuff, I guess, and that's all fallen apart, so it's all like loose pieces of gravel and such. But the basic point is the road is falling. So my motel is falling. It's falling down the hill. It's moved 6 or 8 inches. And when I brought in the people from the official company that does repairs of buildings that are falling, they said that most of the damage is caused by the road, because there's a lot of cars going up and down the road, and sometimes heavy equipment and school buses and everything else, they're going down this road that's not even wide enough for 2 cars. So it's my understanding from the history that I've heard, and I'm not an expert because I've only been in town for 3.5 years, but from what I've heard, the original plan for that road was to be a one-way road like the ones downtown here. And then suddenly it became 2-way, and then now there's not enough space, and there's been a few accidents at that corner, but we know that people come spinning around the restaurant at about 20 or 30 miles an hour really fast, and at times cars will fly. They will actually take flight. They'll be going so fast down that hill, and then there's actually people crossing between one side of the motel and the other. So it's really it's breaking the motel property. But if any of you haven't looked at this yourself personally, the first thing where a lawsuit is going to be happening soon is when that partially broken telephone pole breaks off, because it's already half broken and it's probably being held up by the lines. But the point is, the next windstorm that comes through, that telephone pole is going to fall, and everyone looked at that 2 years ago and they said, oh, that's not the cities, that's the telephone companies, and the telephone company refuses to do anything about it. I'm just letting you know in advance, the lawsuit's going to happen if no one does anything. Now, whether or not it takes some action by the town with the telephone company, the big fear is that if you repair the telephone pole, which means taking it out, that's probably what's holding the hill from going down any faster. But if you all go by there today, the mayor's seen it, I know you've seen it, so the problem is that the hill is falling, and that telephone pole is going to fall down on my building, or it's going to kill somebody, or it's going to fall on a car. It's going to break soon. So that's one of the problems. The other problem is that road is not designed for 2-way traffic going up and down the hill at 80 miles an hour. And the speed limit sign is all rusted out anyway, and it says 20, but what I would like is that road should be turned into a one-way street going uphill with 2 or 3 speed bumps too, to control at least 1 speed bump at the beginning to control the traffic from going up at 80 miles an hour. But coming down is really a problem, and it's been very dangerous several times for my housekeepers crossing. We cross there regularly every day, several times a day, and sometimes you're almost jumping out of the way of cars that are having fun driving it like it's a race course, because it really is fun to go fast. And on Roger's property, the restaurant which he has sold, it's going to have a new owner. I don't know what they're going to do about that corner, but they always cut through the parking lot to zip through so that they can make that even faster and funner. But I'm not giving any suggestions on how to handle that corner, but that problem would end if it were uphill only. And that road is not designed to handle that kind of traffic in this town. And something has to be done, because they've quoted me $65,000, but they told me they can't guarantee the work unless the city does something about the hill falling, because the main part of the movement of the property is happening on that side of the building. And it's happened on right underneath the restaurant too. They've gone in there and they've spent $10,000 or $20,000 because that hill is falling. Whether or not it's the town's fault or the road's fault, doesn't matter to me. The point is it's falling. And if I pay $65,000 to repair that, to keep the hotel from falling, because it's actually, there are places in my basement right now that have already moved about 8 or 10 inches, and they've already broken some pipes, as the city knows. They came in and repaired pipes in the middle of the night, because as the building falls, the pipes become more and more detached from the rest of the plumbing. So I've already gone through a lot of expense just trying to control that fall. But anyone who goes by there, you can see the places where the hill is falling, and it's falling more on the roadside. And I can't do the repair until the road is stabilized somehow. They can stabilize it on two sides, and maybe part of the expense could be taken care of by the town. But the point is there's gonna be a catastrophic moment with the telephone pole or with my motel, where the whole thing slides down a half foot or something, and then all the plumbing breaks, and the building, the basement collapses, and 1 or 2 rooms or the whole place becomes unusable. So I have to close the motel, and all of that revenue from taxes that you're getting will stop for 6 months as they're doing the repairs. But they can't guarantee the repairs, of course, until the town has promised to do something to help with the movement of the hill coming down on that road, because of so much weight, so many buses, so many cars. It's really a major thoroughfare, but it's not treated that way. So I guess I think I've given enough information. Sorry I talked on too long, but there's a lot on my mind, but there are all those pending matters, and it's gonna happen. We can wait till it happens, and then there's lawsuits going on with the telephone pole falls and breaks, and it kills somebody, or it breaks through a building, and then you're repairing the building and the roofs. So all of these things are gonna happen. It's whether or not it happens this year or next year or the year after.
Does DOT is the one that would have to step in and make the road either a one-way or a two-way, right?
No, it's a
Or
city
even-
street.
City street.
It's a city street.
Yeah.
So we have that right to
Yeah.
label it as a one-way street?
Yeah, we got 3 one-way streets. We got Snyder Hill, Millsap Street, and
Right.
Louisville Street are all.
Mhm. I just didn't know if that was our
Hosanna.
responsibility.
Yeah, Hosanna Street. Growing up, I think the only one was Snyder Hill, and those other ones slowly got made one-way streets.
So we just have to put that into law that that's a one-way street, or can we even close the street off coming up by the motel?
You can, you'd have to block it off,
Yeah.
put barriers up, permanent barriers, and make it a dead-end street from the bypass side.
Need to do a public hearing.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, we have to do a public hearing on that.
but when we close the streets or even make them one way, there has to be a hearing, public hearing on that.
Now that driveway to get into Wesley and Benny's shop, is it before one of those round houses? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
right before.
between? Okay.
But see, that's the reason why we were gonna make it, we talked about making it one way downhill, but then that would, because of
That wouldn't be
the
good for
construction
me.
company.
Yeah.
and then
Right, they've got to get in and out.
So,
and JH's shop.
it would
they-
make more sense to do it the other way, but it's still dangerous coming up the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Blocking it off could could actually solve most of the problems, because my guests obviously have to get from check-in down to the rooms. They're gonna be going down the hill. So it's gotta be, I mean, it's the property.
Yeah.
There's no other reasonable way for the guests to get, sometimes it's just walking across the street. But if it were blocked off at the point where those big trucks go through, or a little bit further off as a one-way street, it would have to be forward at least a couple of 100 feet, because those trucks come in and they'll back into that area. So they'll go forward a couple of, but no one's gonna take the street if they're gonna have to stop 100 feet, you know, or
I would just,
anywhere.
the hill part, just block the
Yeah,
hill
me too,
part,
Brian, I was thinking of that too.
not making it dead end from Main down to where they cut in. Cause I know I don't think we can split the street,
Yeah.
so.
Where? I'm not understanding where.
You said that you pull forward, but we were gonna block it off at the bottom. If we did that, it would be at the bottom of the hill, not on past your rentals.
Well, it's gonna have to be, the guests need access to their,
If we do that, they would have to go around and get back to their cabins or whatever.
okay, if it's gonna take a lawyer, I don't want to get into legal problems, but
Well, I'm trying to
we have
alleviate
to
that.
find a way to eliminate some of the speed traffic through there and things. I can't think of a better way, but you can't block my guests from their, this is.
You mentioned blocking the hill off. We could block the hill off. You said, yeah, that'd be great.
That would save the hill from falling, but it wouldn't, preventing my guests access to their rooms between the office. You don't cut a hotel off between the guests and the reception desk.
So how would it be if we blocked it from the top of the hill?
Look at it.
Between, you got your motel here and your restaurant here, just block it off there and down at the bottom, and then just that whole area is designated, no cars are on it. If they
Well,
Go
you
to the
just
ones
block
to
it
the
off and say
bottom.
hotel guests only. It could be blocked off for general traffic, but only hotel guests.
that's going to the two rooms there on the side of the road, is that the ones you're talking about? Cause I'm
they're-
They got
kinda-
rooms and cabins down
He's got
there.
rentals.
Right, yeah,
houses,
well, why
yeah.
can't the cars that are going to be staying at those ones on the side just park down at the bottom where those other ones are? Or up
I
at the
think-
top?
I think that the guests can park in front of their rooms now. You're gonna tell them they're gonna drive around over to the hub and drive around to get to their rooms from the bottom. That's unreasonable. I think maybe the property is quite large
Right.
with all the
Well,
houses.
this is turning into a bigger issue.
Yeah.
We may have to just come look at it and see if we can resolve it at a later time.
You have good
Yeah.
ideas.
And then again, if we do the one way from the bypass up the hill, then your guests can't register up there and then come down the hill.
Yeah, they're
They
gonna
still-
have
They're-
to,
They
Yeah, they
could,
have-
if it's one way, except for motel guests. That seems, you can have one way, no public traffic, but hotel, except for hotel
Like I
guests.
said, like Kenneth said, well,
yeah, I don't,
Yeah,
yeah.
this, we'll have to take this into discussion, see how we can resolve it for both sides, because right now it's turning into your way or our way, and that's not what we need. We need to
Yeah.
come to a peaceful resolution.
But this has been, I wish if the old mayor was here, Hooper would, he would confirm the fact that they've been talking about this for 10 years. They've been talking, Roger has been, both the hotel previous owners and Roger have been talking about what are we gonna do about this road, and the people flying down it at 80 miles an hour. Is there a way to close it and make it one way? But, yeah, I recommend you all go by and see it, see the broken telephone pole, and then the repairs were made by the town. It was recognized 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago that there was a problem there with the road falling apart, and so the town came in and did some spot repairs to make it a little bit smoother, and because a lot of cars, when there's not enough space for two cars, you have cars and buses and stuff driving along right in front of the rooms, like 1 foot away. So all of that area is crumbled into pieces now. So some cars are gonna come through there fast and they're gonna shoot off rocks and break something and continue damage. So,
Appreciate you coming in, Bill. We'll have to look more into it and everything and see what.
short term, a speed bump or two would help. It would help a little bit for safety.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is Ward Street. Some people had mentioned that someone has installed speed bumps on Ward Street. And well, I don't know, we don't know who installed them, but they seem to be, I drove over them, they seem to be okay. I mean, what's the board's feelings on that?
Well, they put it on a town street without town approval, so we need to find out who put them down. And we can ratify the matter by approving it, or they'll have to take them up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no other way around that. I don't know, how many are there? Just one?
Two.
Two.
I don't even know where you put a speed breaker on Ward Street. Seems like it'd be an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to find out who put them down, and then maybe we can ratify
Is it a
it.
street that people was going fast on or something?
That's one. It's barely is one way, enough room for one vehicle to go through.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll have to get up with whoever installed them and either ratify it and approve there to be there, or have the owner that put them down,
Okay.
take them out.
So far, there's been no complaints.
I hadn't had any complaints other than somebody told me that there was speed bumps down there.
Yeah.
I said, I know we didn't put them in.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is the DOT sidewalk project.
From my understanding on this is will actually go into effect next budget cycle,
Yeah.
but they have to have this up front to get the paperwork started.
This is part of the new road coming in off of Sweetwater.
Yeah, they're actually going to put a sidewalk up on the Ingalls side up to the bridge.
Yeah, they're wanting us to pay a portion of that. So that's going in the next budget, Sonia?
It will go in the next budget, but they wanted the board to go ahead and approve for you to sign this, saying that we agree to it, so they can continue with their plans. It would cost $2,677. We're paying 5%
Okay.
of the project.
Did you want to say something, Ellen?
And if you don't, if you'll authorize me, I'll get with Sonia. We want to put the pre-audit language in here, and it's just a couple sentences, and then signed by your finance officer, that this has been pre-audited pursuant to your fiscal act, and that it's going to be in the 2022-2023 budget.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I've got the language, I typed it out.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna approve it today,
Yeah.
but make sure
Yeah.
what we'll put in here is for next year. Okay.
So do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Kim? Okay.
That is with the language change that they
Yes.
put up,
Yes.
which she'll review with Sean.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
just a pre-audit
All right.
certification.
Okay.
And the town table 10. So next one is lawnmower quote. And Chad's not here, but we have several of them here. The first one is a Z Master 4000 at $9,885.62. The second one is a Z Master 4000 HDX at $10,915.09. The next one is a John Deere Z960M Z-Track at $10,950. The next one is a Bobcat ZT6000 ZT 6052 SL. And the next one, it's at 11 grand, $784. And the next one is a Bobcat ZT 6000, ZT 606 1 SL, and that is 12 grand and $144. And the next one is an X-Mark Laser C S Series at 13 grand $599. And we also have a John Deere Z950R Z-Track at $15,959.
Is there money in the budget?
Sean, did he specify which one would be the better one for them?
No, he was supposed to have came up here today and talked to us about it, but
Well, the top two is both local vendors here in town.
And I think the price on them went up because we were supposed to have done this last year, but then the COVID prices.
The last quote was 110 of 22, so I think this one may still be good.
Yeah, it's still.
This has not been put in the budget or it require a budget amendment.
I mean, they need one, and it's getting close to the mowing season.
It is time for them to start.
Yeah.
I just wish we knew which one would be the better one fit for them.
Are they all the same number of inches?
No, they're different.
54 inch.
Yeah.
There's a 60. Most of them are 60 or 52.
Yeah, the first two are 60-inch cut. The first one is a 25.5 horsepower, and the next one's a 31 horsepower. That's the Z Masters.
Sounds like we need an expert deciding
Yeah.
before choosing and finding out it's the wrong one and they wanted a different one.
Well, I'll go ahead and say this, these first two, the 4000 and the 4008 TX, I say we take them off, they're used and no warranty. That's a lot of money to put out for used quick, I mean. it
The
ain't
first
bad.
two are used.
Yeah. And there's no warranty.
That's the John Deere.
Oh, that's the John, yeah, that's the John Deere. Oh,
All the
this
quotes were for new.
Yeah, all of them are for new equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, the John Deere says all equipment is sold as, has no warranty.
Well, so we'll go ahead and take that and off.
The third page of John Deere, it
Alright.
says or fourth page, it says it's 1 hour. It's got 1 hour on it. It's brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
But he was saying that they don't offer any warranty with it.
Yeah.
So, no warranty, and
Do the others give equal warranties?
Usually it's about a year manufacturer warranty.
36 months, 2,000 hours.
Can we make the motion to put $14,000 toward it and then let them decide which one, and then whichever one they
I just
don't
got a
want?
message from Chad. He said that evidently, he said the first one on the first page. So that would be the 4000 series 60 inch.
Yeah.
But for 8562.
That's out the door.
Yeah. And that's the one Chad said he would prefer.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I
that's
make a
from,
motion that we purchase the Z Master 4000 for $9,885.62.
I'll second.
Unanimous.
And we'll take the money, I'll bring on the budget amendment to the next meeting. We'll take it out of your fund savings account, okay?
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is the NCGFAO Finance Officer Spring Conference in Raleigh. Did you want to address that, Sonia?
I'd just like to request, 4 years ago, the board sent me to this. I found it very informative. It is for all the finance officers for the state. There's 100 counties in the state of North Carolina. Sharon Edmiston always puts on a nice presentation. So I just wanted to request to the board if they would like to send me to this again this year.
How many nights is it? How many
It
days?
It is 2 nights.
2 nights. Motion to approve.
It is past the registration deadline, but I'm gonna ask if they make an exception, so we'll see.
I got a motion to approve that Sonia attend the finance conference.
Unanimous.
Okay. All right. And next on the agenda, we have a sports ad for the Brim Star.
So the front page is advertising all 3 of them is the cost, is that correct?
It is 3 different ads, and last year the previous year you had done 1/8 of a page, so that's $217, and they were given 20% off if you could do all 3. So if you did all 3 of these ads, it would cost the town $488. And so I believe, one is spring sports, one is mountain hoops, and then the other one is pigskin preview.
See, 2 of these would be, well, the spring sports, I don't guess it's come out yet. It's probably soon. Is that correct?
And I don't know if he knows, but his deadline is March 10th, so I would say it's pretty soon. It's going to be public. The publication date is March 23rd, so it is this month. But I haven't missed the deadline. If you want to do anything you want to do, it will be 25% off if you do all 3.
I make a motion that we do all 3 and save the 25%.
At the 8th of the page.
At the 8th of the page, yeah.
I think that's what we normally do, is the 8th of the page.
Let us second.
Oh, I'll say.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Okay. Next on the agenda, the town would like to send off RFPs to see if another auditor would be interested in doing our yearly audit.
Okay, didn't we sign a contract with the last auditor last year?
We have a 3-year contract with her. It is my recommendation, as we did before, to send these out in December so that we can reach the deadlines that are required. As you know, we have to send the RFPs out. That's a 17-page request for proposal. Then we'll allow them 30 days to respond, and then I will bring my suggestion to the board, I'll bring the RFPs.
Do we have enough time to get all this done before
I'm nervous
June?
about the time.
I believe we do, yeah.
We have to send out RFPs in December anyway because we're at the end of our 3-year contract. I know it is time to get a new auditor, no doubt about it. We've had them, I think, 15 years. We need a new auditor.
Absolutely.
But we sent out RFPs 2 years ago and we received 1 response. But Sean has been able to make contact with several and ask for, and they do say that they're interested if they can get our information. They've got to find out about our details.
Yeah, they're very interested in
I mean, we can get all this done by June with no extra hardship on you?
Hardship? Absolutely not. No, like I just said. The first step is I type up 17 pages of request for proposal. I post it, I mail it out, I wait 30 days to get a response. So
I don't have a problem with the in search of a new auditor.
I think it would be good too.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
So for the RFP out tomorrow,
Okay. Is that in
can I
motion?
get a,
Need a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to send RFP
Okay.
out.
Second.
Unanimous.
Okay. Okay, good deal. All right. And next on the agenda, number 15, is a request for quotes for medical insurance.
I wanted to let the board know that, and the public know that we would like to request quotes for medical insurance again for the next budget. And we've already spoken to 4 insurance companies, but we just want to put it out there that we're going to be asking for the next budget, new medical insurance.
Just
so-
medical? Just medical?
Just medical. I'd like to do it every 3 years, and we have already done property within the 3 years, 2 years ago, so only reason we're doing this is because we have an issue with the current medical insurance. That's more informational purposes. I'm just letting everybody know that we're gonna bring aboard new quotes this year.
Okay, that's great.
Okay. And next on the agenda is part-time employees benefit policy. Sonia wanted to address that.
Debbie Beasley asked to
Oh,
put this on
Debbie.
the agenda.
Oh, well, we had, we had discussed that with the one part-time employee, and I just thought maybe we needed to put that policy back on our agenda and take a look at it, maybe abolish it for
Okay.
part-time employees.
Is Article 8 full-time employees or part-time
This
employees?
is full-time.
Yeah, okay. So this is full-time.
So there is no insurance for part-time, because I thought that's what they were saying at the last meeting.
We're looking at page number 24 of our personnel policy, second one. It says established at least half-time.
Well, I know even you had said something about that, at 24 hours, that's,
20 hours, that's right.
Yeah. 20
In
hours.
most places, at least 30 or 32.
Yeah.
we need to change that policy, really, to 32 hours, or even just abolish it altogether for part-time employees. Unless they are a full-time employee, they don't have that insurance
Right.
paid for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if anywhere that would pay insurance for part-time.
I know of some that do, but they have to meet a certain hours.
Yeah.
Now, 24-hour employees, are they able to get full benefits, or is it just the insurance? I mean, like
He's
time
getting
off
full,
and stuff.
Full benefits.
they're getting full, they qualify
24
for,
hours?
as
Yeah,
for
no.
this policy, full benefits.
Well, you may need to look into that old deal right there.
That's what she suggested.
And they pay their
To
insurance
change
and
his
everything.
policy.
Yeah. Can I make a motion that we amend that policy?
I'll say,
Okay.
What's the amendment?
And what do you want to amend it to, Debbie? Like,
Well, if they're part-time period, I mean, I think, unless you are a full-time employee, you don't,
Yeah.
get to have the employee benefits of insurance or
Yeah. You wanna-
retirement or
Yeah.
death,
How many people does that affect
You
at
would
this time?
occupy, wait a second, you would, the first sentence is the town will provide
See, I
individual
don't have that
health
paper, so I don't know.
and life insurance to all full-time employees. You'd amend the first sentence. To all full, you didn't get it in your packet.
I just got
I didn't
this.
either.
That's it.
To all full-time
Yeah.
employees.
It's that first sentence.
I don't know about making it retroactive. You're talking about going forward.
Yeah.
Going forward, not
Effective today.
So the first line of read, the town will provide individual health, hospitalization, dental, vision, life insurance for all full-time employees. And then it'll go to the next sentence. Employees shall be enrolled in the program at the end of the 90-day probationary period, according to the provisions of the contract.
you need to put in effect 32/22 somewhere.
This goes in effect as of today, moving forward.
Okay. Works.
Does that affect anyone at all at this time?
No.
Ain't nobody hired in 40 days.
Need to be asking
Okay.
questions. Okay.
motion passed? All right. All right. Number 17, alcohol sales, local licensing fees. Debbie and me and Sonia and Ellen have been working on a form for the license fees, and just need the board to look it over and see if they want to pass it.
And this is for anyone that comes in and wants to get their state license. This is what the town is charging.
Yes.
Yeah, all the town does is, we
You
sign
make
the
that
local
packet.
government form,
Mhm.
the local government opinion form, and sign give them that packet. That's all we do. We turn it over
Right.
to the state. And it's up to after that, it's up to the state to process it. That's why it's taking so long, because the state's having to process it and everything. Nothing to do with the town. People's been spreading false rumors that the town's holding it up, and that's completely false.
Yeah.
It's the state that's holding it up.
We had already approved the $50 back in the previous meeting. This is just a layout of how it's done.
No,
Yeah.
the $50 is approved for the special event permit.
Oh, the special.
There's the
Okay.
application for the special event permit, 'cause
Yeah.
they need to fill out a whole lot more.
Yeah.
This is for all your businesses who obtain a license. You gotta be licensed first before, you give them the town permit, and those costs over there is all that the state is authorizing for county or municipalities to charge the person who has obtained a state license.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Unanimous. There's one spell correction underneath Sean's email address.
Well,
Sean, I didn't do that.
oh.
It's an M instead of an N.
Okay, we'll have to change that.
Okay.
And that passed. Okay, we've had, number 18, we've had some people that's, showed interest, like if they're wanting to clean up like a rental house or something, and not get the water turned on, they just want it turned on temporarily to do some cleaning up around the house, and we just want to know if we could
Draft a policy.
draft a policy for that.
How are we handling it now?
They had been doing it for some rental houses.
Yeah, draft up a policy and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right. Good with,
Yeah.
okay. All right. All right. And next on the agenda is number 20. Accept RTA director resignation, and
I make a motion to accept the RTA director and RTA board member's resignation.
I'll say.
Unanimous.
Let's see, there's something here.
any other new business or?
I have a question, a point of order. Have we did we set an agenda item for everyone to go and take a look at Flora Street and to come back next month and discuss possible solutions? Or did we just kind of leave it hanging in the air? I didn't hear anything that made it officially on the agenda.
Well, we're gonna have to take a look at it, Bill, but it'll be on the agenda. We can't guarantee it'll be next month, but it'll be on the agenda. We'll have to look at it and see what needs to be done and everything.
We have one that we put on hold, the softball field water line.
Yeah.
You know, what did Chad say about that?
Let's see. He said it would cost about 2 guys and most of the day work. Material, he said we already have the tap and 2 joints, 2-inch PVC with a quarter bucket of patch. He said he don't know exactly what the cost would be, but from what he said, it looks like it's pretty not that expensive to do that project. Because we got most of the stuff, he said that most it cost 2 joints of 2-inch PVC and then stuff to patch the hole they did the tap.
I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and go with that, cause it's right now softball season, and I know they're gonna want water there on that side. And
I'll second.
go ahead and get the water.
Okay, unanimous? Okay. Any other new business?
I don't have anything.
Alright. And then we need to go into close for personnel matters.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
preservation of attorney-client privilege pursuant to the provision of North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A.
Closed session and,
Make a motion to adjourn.
alright,
Second.
unanimous. Okay, meeting adjourned at, 15:20.
Sonya, no more big meetings.